Hi, this is Dawn, and this podcast is The Point, where we talk all things wedding planning in the city of Pittsburgh and beyond. If you're newly engaged, a year into planning, or you're going to say I do in 30 days, this podcast is for you. Hi, everyone. This is Dawn, and today I have one of our Pittsburgh Brides photographers, very talented. She has an amazing story, and I'm so excited to introduce you to Michaela Ingmire from Michaela Ingmire Photography. I hope
You got it.
Watch that too bad.
No, you got it.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started in photography.
So I actually got started. I was trying to think here. When I was very little, my mom was into photography. Her best friend was a very well-known photographer in our area. And so she would do weddings and sessions and things like that, just kind of like as for fun with her. And then my mom was the type of person where a lot of her friends were like, "Hey, you have a camera. Can you do my wedding?"
Yeah.
And experience, whatever. So my mom would throw me along with her and just be like, "Here's a camera, take pictures, just capture whatever." So it started out with that. And then I would just always have loved taking pictures. And then in high school, I started taking pictures of my brother's sports teams just for fun. It started from there. And then people were like, "Hey, do you want to take our senior pictures?" So I started doing senior pictures. And then during COVID, my husband and I had actually started dating the day that COVID started. So
No.
Yes.
March 15th, 2020.
March 14th, everything shut down that night. So we were at in dinner, whatever. And that was, they went over the loudspeakers. They were closing after this. So yeah, definitely it happened March 14th, whatever. So anyways, long story short, he bought me my first professional camera, for my birthday that year. So it was in October of 2020. And from there on, he was like, he told me when he bought it for me, he said, "I trust that." He's like, "You obviously have a talent. You like doing this." He's like, "I think that you should just keep it going." So he bought me a camera and did a wedding that following April. And it's been.
You did a wedding like right after the shutdown the next month?
No, the next
2021.
2021.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I was
got
like,
my professional
boy.
camera in October. Yeah.
I was like, you threw yourself into the fire.
No. It was the next year.
Okay.
But it was the April after I got my professional camera. So.
And so was that obviously that was a COVID wedding.
Yes. Yeah. So it was just the two of them and their immediate family. So it was an intimate ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you learned how to navigate that very touchy situation, which wedding photographers have to navigate complicated dynamics with family and photos and all of that. So you just went like straight into it.
At first. Yeah.
So you decided at some point after, so many weddings that you love photography because you have taken a big step.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've always loved doing pictures, and then it just brings me a joy every time I take photos, and getting to meet people is fun. And then just like seeing everything come together from taking the pictures, seeing it on the back of my camera screen, then to editing and sending it out and getting to give them moments that they get to relive
The rest of their life.
pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Photos are the one thing that are timeless.
For sure.
That you have forever.
Yeah. It's the one tangible thing that you have from your wedding day. Yeah. Because the cake, it gets eaten,
Yeah.
The dress, it gets put in the closet.
You wear it one day.
Yes. Your wedding photos, they're there and you can go through them.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. So you recently you had a job or a corporate job, correct?
Yep.
And you gave your resignation.
I did. Yeah. Yeah. So originally, a little bit of a backstory, I had planned 2025. When I graduated high school, in the back of my mind, I was like, 2025 is going to be the year that I quit, whatever job I'm working in, I'm going to be a full-time photographer. And I didn't have any basis on that. That was just like my goal, I guess. And then got married and, all that kind of stuff. And so 2025 came and I was like, you know what? I could possibly quit my job, and be fine. But I was like, I really wanted to, I had a truck at the time and I had a truck payment. I wanted to pay it off. And so I ended up paying it off in August of 2025. And I was like, still like very lenient because I was like, oh, we're going into the winter months, I'm going to be able to make this happen. I was like, I'll just keep working. Well, then by probably, I don't know, February of 2026. So this year, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not working a full-time job and doing wedding photography, which is another full-time job. And so I was never home ever. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and quit my job. So I think it was April 30th was my last day of my full-time.
How did that feel?
What?
To resign.
Amazing. I loved it. It was great. It was a little bit sad at first because I did love some of the girls that I worked with and everything. But I was like, it was scary because I was like, am I going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
But it was amazing. I've loved every bit of it since I quit.
Yeah.
So
there's an empowerment.
For sure.
In self-employment and entrepreneurship and all those things. And I started my first business when I was 22. And I had one corporate job for 6 years. And it was exhausting. It was so fatiguing mentally, just the dynamics of, the chain of command and different opinions. And feedback on everything. And like when you're an entrepreneur, like being able to say, I'm choosing to do this, this, and this, and not having to answer to anyone else.
It's so nice.
Like, so nice. And if you fail and you make a mistake, you learn.
Exactly.
You just don't do that again. But at least you don't sit down on the sidelines and watch your boss. Oh, God, I can't believe he's doing that. That it's just so inappropriate, or not able to execute the vision, or I don't know, whatever. It just doesn't work out that way. So you recently were at a wedding and you took a video, and that video went viral.
Yes.
I have to hear this story. Tell me about it.
So I have Meta glasses, okay? And I recently got them, and I had them on for the entrance, okay? And first people who were coming through was the bride's parents. They're divorced. But they have a great co-parenting relationship, which is fantastic. So the entire wedding day, like, it wasn't like, oh, you have to keep me away from this person. Like, they were very much like, yeah, sure, a picture together. Great. So they were the first two to enter, and I wasn't videoing. I was going to wait and video like the bride's entrance. Like, I didn't think to video the rest of the entrances. But as they were about to enter, the song starts playing. It's Taylor Swift's song, the We Are Never Getting Back Together song. So it starts playing, and I was like, okay, wait a second. This is kind of funny. So I'm going to go ahead and like, of course. So I start recording it, like not even thinking like nothing. I was just like, this is a funny moment, like definitely postable, whatever. So I videoed this, and that night went home, posted it. And I knew that it had the potential to get some views just because it was like a funny, relatable, whatever.
It's serendipitous, the song and the two of them entering and all of that.
Did not expect it to get 7+ million views. Like it was insane.
7 million?
7 million, yeah. I think Instagram's up to 7.6 million today. Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It was exciting. Like it was kind of, I woke up the next morning and I had like, I don't know, I want to say like 60,000 likes on it, maybe like 300,000 views. And I was like, wow, okay, like this is pretty cool. And then it just kept going and going. And I was like, oh my goodness, like it just kept escalating.
What hashtags did you use? What did you do? Did you have any idea what you did?
No, it was just a moment that people could relate to. And, I found that like if people can relate to something, if they can be like, oh, I wish this happened to us or whatever, people like it, And there were so many comments on it, like that were cracking me up. This one comment, this is so funny. She was like, she goes, I was going to have my parents do this at my wedding, but then my dad died right before I walked down the aisle. And I was like, oh my goodness.
He literally died?
Yeah, she goes, he decided to take the spotlight from me and passed away. Where I was like, at your wedding? She's like, yeah, at my wedding. Oh my goodness. That's my top comment right now. Everybody's liking that. And they're like, they think it's the funniest thing. I'm like, is it true? Crazy.
Or is it just a troll? Like,
I have no clue. If it's true. From her comments, I would assume it was true. And I'm like, that is horrible. But
just when you think a wedding can't get possibly any worse.
Yes. Yeah. She was like, yeah, you stole the spotlight. I'm like, oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. And then so how's the couple and their parents feel about the video going viral?
They think from what I've heard, they also didn't expect something like that to happen. They kind of they saw it on social media and they thought it was funny, and then it just went viral, and they think it's hilarious. I know
how many other couples were inspired by that, right?
Lots of people were saying it. Lots of people were commenting. They're like, "Oh my goodness, we're doing this for our wedding." So I wouldn't be surprised if I had a new trend set of weddings this year, and they're all.
Let's do that thing, that Michaela thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Her video for the entrance. Oh my God, it's so amazing. So let's talk a little bit about weddings in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Right? Because you're serving the Indiana, Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you travel, first of all?
Anywhere. Mm-hmm.
Wherever you click with the client and it feels good and feels like a good fit. Yep. So tell me what other states you've been to.
I've been to most recently Georgia and South Carolina.
Okay.
Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, surrounding Maryland. I've also been to Mississippi, Florida, North Carolina.
Oh, you get
them like the major
around.
weddings and stuff. And
getting around. So, do you think that weddings here in Pittsburgh are different than other places?
You know what they don't have? The cookie table.
Of course.
Yeah, they don't have the cookie table. Except my Maryland wedding did.
Okay.
I was surprised. But yeah, that's $1. Over $1.
Do you see the cultural family culture of different ethnicities as much in those other states? I'm just curious.
Not as much, no.
Because that's a big part of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big fat Italian, Irish, or Greek, or Slovakian wedding.
Yeah,
that's a big part of our culture.
Sure,
and it's usually tied into weddings. So because I don't do any out of state, God help me. I do West Virginia and Ohio, but I'm not going. I did Maryland early years, and I said, enough of this. Like that drive home was hard, especially if you're commuting.
Yes.
After hours. So do you have a second shooter?
I do. My mom is for 95% of my weddings a second shooter. She's great. Her name's Baba. Everybody loves her. She totally takes on the mom role.
Yeah.
And so, she is a great mom, but she's my second shooter for most of my weddings. And the groomsmen love her because she's very much like, she just jumps in and she becomes their mom. And she's like, don't do that. Whatever. But they think it's hilarious. Yeah. Like, they love it.
Well, she was your inspiration too. And probably a little bit of the genetic gift that you got.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
Talent, you could teach someone how to draw or someone to play the guitar, but the ability to create art from it comes from within. And that's a special little gift that you get from God. And I believe, and this is just my philosophy, that you get it from genetics. You get it from your parents.
For sure, yeah.
They're a big part of who you are, what you become, and how you follow their path, even though you may not even realize it. So your mom has to love that.
She does. She loves telling people, she's like, oh yeah, my daughter's my boss. Because we go into a wedding day and people assume that she's, the lead or whatever. And it'll be funny because they'll be like asking her a question and she'll literally look at them and she'll go, well, let me ask my boss. Yeah. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
Like your boss? And she's like, oh, my daughter. She's my boss. She thinks it's funny. But
that's so cute.
Yeah.
So there's this new trend out there and I want to ask your opinion on it.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I saw it and I was like, oh, I love this idea. So everybody goes down the aisle and the procession order, of course, the bride comes down the aisle and the officiant is not at the end of the aisle, but like mid-aisle.
Okay.
And then stands up like mid-aisle, between mid-aisle and the front of the aisle, and stands up and is the officiant. And then now the bride and groom are facing the aisle.
Oh, okay.
Facing the crowd. And so probably some dilemmas there for photography, but I do like the idea that instead of them facing each other like this, that they're facing the aisle of all their guests and everyone, and people can see their faces and read the room. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
So I do have some strong opinions on this because of the photography part.
Okay.
I've been to probably 3 weddings where they've done this. And I do like the idea that the bride and groom can look at the guests can see them, that kind of aspect. But it is very hard because if you are in a certain spot where you're sitting, you also can't see the bride and groom because now there's the officiant there. So it kind of depends on the venue for sure. If you're like in a church and you're elevated, the bride and groom are elevated, it works out. But if they're down all floor level, it's harder because some people, it blocks their view then.
Okay.
And obviously photography wise, there are no direct shots. So your first kiss side views.
Right.
You know, you just hopefully you have two shooters that can, you know, get both sides. Like either the photographer has to stand in front of the officiant or you just lose that straight on shot, which kind of stinks. But I have noticed a lot of bride and grooms instead of doing that, they'll take a moment at the beginning where they kind of like look out at their guests. They just take a moment, take it all in, look at their guests, that kind of thing. I like that because then you still get those pictures.
Sure.
You can still see your normal setup. And you can still then look at your husband or wife, you know, hold their hands, look in their eyes, that kind of thing. And you don't have to worry about standing side by side.
Yeah.
So it's kind of,
I love it. I love the feedback.
Yeah, it's a cool aspect, but I think that there's a lot of people who don't think that far into it and they just, oh yeah, this is cool and jump on that trend. And then later on, they're like, I kind of wish I didn't do that because the officiant was right there and my mom was right there. My mom didn't get to see me. She got to see the person, you know, on this side. So
everything that you do has a domino effect to some capacity. So you really do have to think out the logistics of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about anything new like that.
Absolutely.
So tell me some other things about, so do you do the engagement shoot with them and where's the value in that? What do you think about that?
I think it's very valuable. It shows them how I work on a wedding day. It shows them, you know, how I take pictures. It shows them, and then also it gives them the consistency. So they have me from, you know, time to get engaged. Some people will hire me for their proposal too. So some people I do proposal, engagement, wedding, you know, whatever. But it gives them the cohesiveness, like of pictures, which is nice. So you're not getting like two different editing styles, two different photographers, whatever. But yeah, it creates a connection between me and the bride and groom as well. Whereas, you know, some people don't have that engagement session and it's just the bride or the photographer just shows up on the wedding day. Yeah. But I like to be able to get to know my bride and groom rather than just showing up on your wedding day and taking pictures. I want to create connection with you, but you're not just, you know, having to pose in front of me. It's
chemistry also, like being able to communicate well with each other, being able to read their tones, like if they're uncomfortable and you can
and that's it too. And especially on a wedding day, because the wedding day is such a high stress moment. Yeah. Being able to have known them beforehand and be like, you know, I know that this kind of creates a stressful moment and just being able to step aside with them and be like, listen, I'm here for you on your wedding day. I'm flexible. Like, here's what we can do. Do I need to do this for you? Can I fix this? You know, whatever.
She loves the camera. He hates it kind of thing.
Yes.
You figure out how you're going to navigate around those things.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I can appreciate that. So I was doing a little bit of deep diving on you before our podcast. And I saw that you're doing these new sessions where it's like, what, 8?
Yes. Stranger sessions.
Tell me about this.
So
this is not wedding related, but I want to know. Right. I'm interested.
It is a new trending thing. And actually, I had seen it. It's been out for a couple years, but it just recently started getting really popular again. And a friend of mine in my area started doing them. And she was like, yeah, you should try it. Because I thought about it, but I was like, the concept of somebody wanting to pay me to take pictures of them and somebody they have never met before, like, kind of baffled me.
Yeah.
So I was like, why would they want that?
Yeah.
But it is a huge thing right now. So basically what happens is people fill out an application and I go through an extensive, like, check on them, seeing what they're like, you know, their social media, all that kind of stuff. And then I see, based off of what they fill out on this application, I try and like pair these groupings together, these, you know, couples together.
Yeah. As a couple.
Mm-hmm. So I find 2 people that might and they might not, you know, they might do this session and never talk again.
Yeah.
But then I basically reach out to them. I'm like, hey, here's an area we could do this at. Here's a date. Are you guys able to do this? If they're willing to do it, we go and do it. And basically they show up. We do the blindfolded at first, you know, and then have them meet each other.
No way. Like they don't even know.
They have no clue, nothing about the person. I don't even tell them the name because then they can check them out.
Search.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of, it's all up to me. Yeah, I'm a matchmaker. And then they show up. They meet right then and there, do pictures of them, and then it's up to them whether they want to go on a date or after, like, continue going on dates after that.
How many of these have you done?
So far, none. I'm still in the whole like
matchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to do another podcast.
There's so many.
So that you could tell me some tea on this one, because I'm interested to see like how it unfolds and who hooks up and goes out and who's like, oh my God, that guy smelled horrible. I never want to be next to him again. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah, no, totally. And there's like, it can get kind of sketchy too, because like I said, there are people who come in and I'm like, he doesn't look very trustworthy, or she's, I don't think that, I'm not sure that I'd match up herself with this person, So it's a little bit kind of stressful. Like, what if, but at the same time, it's like, well, but I have written on there, like,
and
you might
paying you.
Match. Mm-hmm.
They're paying you to do this. Are they models?
No.
Brand ambassadors or anything of that type?
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing. Random people.
They just want to meet somebody and take photos with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
It's a blind date.
Our culture has changed.
It has definitely changed.
It's a big shift towards photos or everything.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And so that being said, you could have multiple different types of media for your wedding day. You could have, obviously, most have a photographer. You can have a videographer. You can have a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And content creators are a hot take right now because there's all kinds of opinions on them. Tell me your thoughts on a content creator on site.
I actually like content creators.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Tell me why.
I think the more memories that you can have from your wedding day, the better, personally. Now, there are some content creators that I've worked with before that I'm like, I don't know that I've worked with them before. But I think that wedding vendors in the industry, we all try to get along with each other. We try to work with each other. And like, same thing with videographers. There's videographers that I worked with before that I'm like, the way that they work is not,
your cup of tea.
I don't think it's not my cup of tea. So it's like, I don't know that I want to work with them again. Yeah. But I think that if we can all work together and give the bride some great
content,
footage, great
memories.
Exactly. And like, a content creator and a videographer, some people think like, oh yeah, they're basically the same thing, except one has lower quality equipment. But I think that there is a good difference between the two for sure. Like, it's not, one is solely like, hey, I want these, raw footage of just snippets of the day to look back on. The other one is more of a curated video. Yeah.
Cinematic.
Yeah. Cinematic. Yeah.
And so like, I was explaining this. I did a podcast with Kate Mayer from KM Content Studio. She is amazing. She worked in news media for 8 years, and now she's doing wedding content creation. She's on PittsburghBrides.com, and she's very talented. And her and I went through this subject, and one of the things that we talked about was that the roller coaster ride that you have after your wedding day. Like, you've been working on this wedding for a year, 2 years. Like, the adrenaline rush that you have the next morning, like, oh my God, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And the need to know what just happened, to relive it, because it goes by so quickly. Mm-hmm. And like, all this work for 2 years, 24 months, and then bam, it's over with. And you're like, and you want to see what the dress looked like, what the altar looked like. You want to see these things. And while great photographers will offer those sneak peeks, usually in a reasonable amount of time, that doesn't help the adrenaline rush.
Right.
It doesn't help them while they're on that roller coaster, and they're really, really high on that roller coaster, and they just want to keep riding that roller coaster. Absolutely. There is a lifespan on that. And when they post, that post, it has a life expectancy of only so long, right? Before it's going to fade. And they got married 4 months ago.
Exactly.
It's not as relevant as when they just got married.
Absolutely.
And the content creator gives them content like the next morning. A good content creator has something for them before they wake up, so they can and they don't have to DM all their friends. They don't have to deal with all that. It's like all in their inbox, and they have a reel they can post. We did it. We got hitched. Yeah. And it also, I think, takes pressure off the photographer and the videographer, because you feel that
they're not as asking for that.
Yeah, they need that. They need to relive that moment, and they deserve to relive that moment. And we've had a couple photographers I've heard that are giving pushback on that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, the client is the client, and it's their wedding. They paid for the flowers and the venue and the food and everything. Why on earth would you be so obtuse to say that they couldn't have a content creator?
Absolutely. Yeah. If they want it.
Some have it in their contract
to not be allowed one.
No content creator. If you hire a content creator, I'm not doing your wedding. Like, what are you going to do if they show up the day of the wedding and they've already been paid? Right. And the bride didn't realize that it wasn't a part of clause in your contract. Like, Like, come on, people, get real.
Yes. Yeah, I don't see an issue in it at all. And I think it's honestly great. I love that people are diving into that. And I through my business, we've done a couple weddings. My little sister, she's been a content creator. And it does. You can just give it to them the next day. And it's funny because
she made content of you working too.
And she has.
Which is really important.
Yes.
Like I've seen the clips on your Instagram. Is that your sister?
Some are my sister, some are
others.
My mom. Yeah, it just depends. Yeah.
So it's showing you in real time doing what you do as well. So there's a mutual benefit there.
Absolutely.
Plus, I think it takes the pressure off the photographer of having to get sneak peeks to them or the videographer getting a short to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Takes that pressure off. They're not like, I need content.
Well, that's what I had. My brother-in-law just got married 2 weeks ago, and my sister-in-law now, she was like, she's like, I had my wedding. It was great. Loved it, every minute of it. She's like, now I feel like we call it post-wedding depression. So instead of like postpartum depression, it's right after your wedding where it's over and that's that. She's like, I just like, it's done. Like all that moment that I waited up for, it's gone. And yeah, so she enjoyed, like, she didn't have a content creator, but all of her bridesmaids who took videos of her from behind the scenes or whatever. She was like, it's so fun to just relive the day and see things that like you wouldn't, the bride wouldn't normally see.
Right.
You know, because you're trying to get ready while something else is happening. You know? And so I think it's important to have that and be able to look back on those moments. And and like kind of going along with the whole videographer, content creator deal. It's interesting because like your videographer is more focused on the bride and groom, whereas your content creator, I've seen some who right now are doing like interviews with.
Yes, I've seen that too. I
love that because in the long run, some of those people are, going to be there for the rest of your life, and it'll be fun to be able to look back at those and be like, my grandma said this on my wedding day, or my grandpa, told me best wishes for this, or, things like that. And I think that's important.
And one of the things that's for sure with the wedding industry is that it's constantly evolving and the landscape is changing. We have a Gen Z bride that sees things differently than her parents. I mean, her parents followed their parents' traditions for the most part. Yeah. And this Gen Z bride is not having it. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but they basically just want to do what they want to do. And they don't want to be holding to any traditions that they feel are outdated or old. God bless them. I love it because I show up to weddings and I'm like, oh my God, there's like donuts or there is beef jerky and stuff on the cookie table. They come up with some of the most amazing ideas. Because they're thinking outside of the box. They're doing a different dress color. They're doing a second dress. They're doing late night bites with a food truck or something like that. Like I absolutely love because, for a certain point in time, weddings were actually a little bit boring. Like
very mundane.
Yeah. And they've changed that.
Yeah.
Like
I know it is fun going into like even this being another, wedding season, just seeing all the different trends. Or sometimes I'll have brides text me and they're like, hey, I'm adding this to my wedding. Like, totally want a picture of this. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so fun seeing the new, different aspects of wedding days that people are coming up with.
Have you ever had a bridezilla?
Yes.
Without naming names, spill the tea.
Trying to think here because I had the beginning of this year has been a little rough too. Not full on bridezillas, but there have been some moments where I'm like, let me think here. I had a bridezilla very earlier on, in my, the whole wedding game for me. And she was very, she knew that I was new and new to photography. I had only done maybe 2 or 3 weddings at this point in time.
Yeah.
And I'm very open about that. Like, I wasn't just going to jump into somebody's, 100,000 wedding day and be like, yeah, book me, whatever. But she was very much like the entire day was like, you need to take a picture of this. And it's like, okay, yeah, like that's a normal thing. And that you need to take a picture of this. You need to take a picture of this. And then she was her hairstylist did her wet hair, which she had trials done before it. To my knowledge, she had 2 hair trials previous to this.
That should have been a tell.
And she had got her hair done the exact same way, tore it all out, had me helping her, had somebody else help. And I was like, oh my goodness, same thing with the hair. or it's the makeup, I mean, just like every little thing. And then she got into her wedding dress and it did not fit her. Like,
what?
Did not fit her. And then that was a whole ordeal.
Like, what part didn't fit her?
It wouldn't zip. So it wasn't even something that like, yeah. And it was just,
like a hem where you could just cut it or something.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't zip.
Mm-hmm.
Her wedding dress would not zip.
Not zip.
What did they do? How did they resolve it?
I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't even remember. I think I ended up just like leaving the room because it was like a very high stress moment. I was like, but there's nothing I can do here. She had a lady come in. I think that they ended up, she had like a white, somebody had like a white cami that they ended up putting on her so that it kind of like covered the back a little bit.
Or underneath it.
Underneath it.
Hold
And
the
kind of
zipper.
like, yeah, something. It was just like, the things that just kept happening, it just like kept building on the day. It wasn't just like one thing. It was just every little thing. And it was like, she just wasn't willing to be flexible, wasn't willing to, like, hey, this went wrong. Let's, try something else. Let's do something. It was like, no, this is how my wedding day is happening. And this is what it is. Like, okay, yeah, it's your wedding day. We will do whatever we can.
We're not magicians.
But your dress doesn't fit. Like, your dress isn't working. So we can't zip it up. Like, here's what we're going to have to do instead. Things like that. It was like, just a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I've definitely had a couple bridezillas. A lot of my brides are so totally great, though. Like, I've had some amazing brides who are just amazing. So,
did you have any tells early on that you might have trouble?
No.
Nothing. No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I get it. Wedding days are so stressful.
Right.
So I totally understand. But yeah, there are some wedding days where it's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's a little much.
I've been pretty fortunate through the years that I have only had one that I would call the bridezilla. And boy, this one, we had our photo booth, our mirror photo booth, is at 200 pounds.
Okay.
And we have on our contract, we don't take it over gravel, up steps, anything. Because one person can't handle it. My husband and I show up at the wedding. We have 3 weddings this day. And my husband is a senior citizen. So he's older, but he's in really good shape. And we show up and there's no flat handicap way to get into the building. The only way to get in is up 7 concrete steps in the back door. So I'm like, okay, like obviously we always ask this question and she wasn't truthful about this, but we're going to deal with it. A couple guys are walking by in the shopping center. I'm like, you guys want to earn $20? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, we help my husband carry this up the steps. So we carried up the steps, we get in the room and there's no floor plan. There's no anything. There's no planner. It's a fire hall. And I'm like, typically we would put the photo booth like close to the dance floor and close to the bar in that vicinity because people will hop back and forth from dancing to photo booth. And if it's near the bar, they'll have a drink and then do a picture, that type of thing. So we get everything in place. We get everything set. It looks gorgeous. And then somebody must have taken a picture and sent it to the bride. And then she gets on the phone and she's like, no, that's not where I want it. I want it on the other side of the room. And I was like, all these tables for this wedding, 150 tables were like set with their plates and the glassware and the candles and everything. Like there was no way for us to get the booth through.
Yeah.
Like we literally had to start moving everything to move it back. So we did. We get there and we get it all reset in that corner. Everything's fine. And then my husband and I leave. We go to the other weddings. We come back, and this service was from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 6 hours, which is our maximum service that we do. I have 2 photo booth attendants there. Everything's going good. Everybody's having fun. She's in the booth. She's getting pictures with her family and everything. And every time that they take a picture, they print 12. Like just an obnoxious amount of prints, just wasting paper. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm expecting to buy a roll of paper. But I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, it's 10:15 and she's still in the photo booth and still taking pictures. And another one, and I was like, we have to close. We have to go. And she's like, she keeps taking pictures. And I looked at my husband and I gave him that look. And he walked over and he just pulled the plug. I was like, oh, sorry, the timer went out. No more photos. And she had major attitude. But I'm like, listen, like, we're not being paid for this. We came early. We set everything up. We moved everything around. you didn't follow our contract. Like, we did everything right. I'm not like, and you're just taking pictures to burn paper.
Right.
Like, you're not even.
You don't need 12 of those. Like,
no, exactly. It was ridiculous. And that is my bridezilla. And then she tried to like say something nasty on social media, and I was just like, here's all the pictures from your wedding.
Yes.
How beautiful you look and how beautiful the setting was. Like, and we were there 15 minutes longer than we were contracted. So and you've never sent me an email, a phone call, or anything that you were unhappy with service that for me to address. I'm like, if you have a problem, hey, Dawn.
Yeah.
Hey, Dawn.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Dawn. Like, let's fix it. But
Communicate.
the communication was bad from the beginning because obviously she worked there in the venue, so she knew there was no handicap entrance to the building and that we were going to have to go stairs. So she literally duped us.
Yeah.
Coming out of the gate. People will lie.
Absolutely.
If you don't know that, like, everybody lies. House, that old analogy from that show. Like, and so sometimes you have to like really learn to read the room and be like, something doesn't seem right here, double check. Our assistant, we always email that out, like stairs, elevators, look, we need to know everything, expectations. What do you feel about barns with no air conditioning?
Not a fan. Not a fan. Or no heat. Some of them will take weddings November, December, and there's no heat and freezing.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. So a little bit of a backstory that's kind of funny. I did a barn wedding 2 summers ago. And long story short, I was on vacation the week before. I had gotten bit by a mosquito and it had started this onset of issues. And I ended up having a 105-degree fever for 10 days straight. And I had a wedding that Saturday after my vacation. And it was a barn wedding. Okay. And so I had a 105-degree fever as I was at this barn wedding. No air conditioning. It was 90 degrees out that day. I was sweating bullets. There was like nothing to cool me down. Like it was miserable. Yeah. And since that day, I'm like, barn weddings without air conditioning are horrible. I'll do them. They're horrible.
There's enough charge. No, actually, I feel like the industry, like for us, and my husband and I have had this conversation, like the Wyndham Grand, we're loading in for any events that we do, or the Omni on the 17th floor. Like, it's a freaking nightmare to load into those spaces. Yeah. And, we're bringing in heavy equipment and tables and things like that. And I'm like, there's an upcharge. Like, if you call me and tell me that your event's at the Wyndham, I'm sorry, there's an automatic upcharge because I know that there's that complexity, and I'm starting to feel like I'm going to add that to my contracts for weddings as well. It'd be like, if there's not air conditioning, there's an upcharge.
Understandable.
Because it's so hard to do what we do. And, we're a photographer as well with the photo booth. We have Canon cameras.
Right.
Like, it's really important to like make sure aperture and shutter speed and lighting and everything is good. And like, it's so hard to do that when you're like pouring sweat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
And like photographers, and I'm sure it's like this for you too, you don't sit the entirety of your day unless you're eating dinner.
Correct.
And it's like, sure, everybody else gets to sit, gets a break from that heat, can sit down, whatever. Well, I'm not. Yeah. Like, I'm going. Like, I am running around like crazy. It's hot, especially in the summer. Like, it gets real hot. And in barns, like, they just keep the heat in. There's no airflow.
Yeah. A lot of them don't have proper flow to get the air out, even if they have fans.
No.
And, so maybe consider the upcharge.
It's
like, if the facility doesn't have air conditioning, or I have to climb a bunch of steps to get upcharge, just know that there's we have a holiday fee as well. Like, everybody wants to book a wedding on May 25th, Memorial Weekend, or Labor Day
4th of July. That's
4th of July. And I'm just like, do you know what kind of traffic there is? And then they're like, why is there more money? I'm like, do you know how hard it's going to be to park in downtown Pittsburgh?
It's more expensive.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And they don't think about those things. They compare levels of service and pricing. So let's talk about that a little bit, because you brought that up earlier in the conversation when you talked about, you were new and you had a new bride. And so your price points are at this one place, like when you're a new photographer, right? Because what are you trying to do?
Build clientele.
Build a portfolio as well, right? Like, you need content so that you can book yourself. So your price point is going to be a little lower.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that you're not an experienced photographer. You might have been experienced in family portraits or sports photography or senior pictures or things like that. But now you're stepping into the wedding space.
The wedding content.
And you need wedding portraits, you need wedding photography so that you can have galleries that you can share with clients. And so your price point might be here, but after you're a couple years in, now you're 5 years in, now your price point has jumped because you have more galleries, more experience, you've troubleshooted more problems, like you learned the dynamic of the emotional intelligence that it takes to be a photographer. That's one of the things that I see in you. I don't see this in a lot of weddings that I've worked. I see a lot of photographers that are like so egotistical that like it's about them and about their content, as opposed to realizing that it's somebody's wedding day and that these are their memories for the rest of their life. And that no matter what the dynamic is going on with the family and everything, that you have a certain level of calm and cool.
Sure.
You have to be calm, cool, and collected. And you have to be able to make people feel like they matter and that they're important and get what you need. And that's a personality thing. Like, you're a talented photographer, but you also have to have the personality, right?
For sure. I work for another company also. Her name's Sarah Haynes Photography, and I had the opportunity to be an associate photographer for them. And Sarah always says to us girls, she always says, I can build your talent, but I can't build your personality.
Oh my!
And that's why she has chosen us to be on her team. And it's very true. Like a lot of my brides have said that they'll book me because of my personality or because I'm very go with the flow. Like guaranteed your wedding day, you are not going to be on time. Something's going to happen. You're going to be whether you're 5 minutes behind, whether you're 20 minutes, an hour behind, something's going to happen. Your day is not going to flow as you build your timeline to think it's going to be. And I think that me being able to just show up on the wedding day and be like, hey, your hair and makeup's taking long, that's fine. I'll go capture something else. I'll go do this. I'm not standing there being like, well, you're supposed to be getting in your dress right now. Like, this is what the timeline says. You stop your hair. I look right here, And that's where, like, I've worked with some photographers who are very, like,
little
you need to be doing this. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that. And it's like,
I've seen
it's not about you, and it's not about your photos either.
I've seen it.
It is about the bride and the groom, and it's about their day and what they want.
We've lost perspective on who the client is.
Yes, for sure.
And without the client paying for the venue and the flowers and, everything that makes a photograph beautiful, you don't have to photograph. Right? So there's such a lack of respect for that with some individuals. I'm not going to say all, but I love that you have that balance. It's so funny Sarah said that to you because I tell my clients when they call in and they do an intro call with us, I was like, I interview my staff based on skill set, meaning that they have the skills required to do the job, but I hire them based on personality because they're going to spend a lot of time with your guests. And it's really important for me that your guests feel comfortable when they come up to a blackjack table or a photo booth or any of the services, a magician, any of the services that we offer under the Elite umbrella. I want them to feel like they're friends, that they're welcome and they're warm and that it's an easy engagement. Not, I don't want to work today. And they're like on their phone and they no contact type vibes. Like, and that's a personality thing. And like she said, like, skill set is important, but personality is equally important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, like I said, that is like a lot of my brides and stuff will come back for photos because they're like I just did a maternity session the other day.
From one of your brides?
Yes. Yes. Well, actually not technically one of my brides, but yes. Also, long story short, she got married, did not like her wedding photos. And so she had me do a reshoot. I was not her photographer or her original photographer, but she had me do a reshoot for her.
Bridal portraits?
Bridal portraits, basically. Yeah. So I did those. She loved those. And she came back to me and she was like, whenever I found out I was pregnant, my first thought was, we're hiring Michaela to do our maternity photos. And I was like, how cool is that? Because she said, she was like, you made us feel so comfortable. Like, never had to question anything. And I was like, I love that. And same thing with like some of my actual brides who they'll come back for family photos or 1-year anniversary portraits, whatever, just because they're like, yeah, like we know you, we know that we don't have to, pretend to be somebody we're not around you. We can just be ourselves, do photos.
Nothing is a higher compliment than a well-worded review or when they call you and rebook you again for anything.
Absolutely.
I have one client, and she's crazy because she always calls me up and she's like, hey, Dawn, I want to do a party in 20 days for my husband's 50th birthday. And then 2 years later, fast forward, hey, Dawn, I want to do a wedding for my son. I said, when? And she's like, 20 days. And I'm like, Ashley, you're killing me. And then her husband, he called me on the gut. He's like, I need you. What do you need, David? He's like, I want to do her 50th birthday party. And I was like, but I don't, obviously I have no one to go to. And you know her better than anyone because you've done so many parties for her. I was like, I got you, David. We got this.
Yeah.
But nothing speaks more highly of you as a talent in any field in the entertainment industry, wedding industry, than when they rebook you. That's
absolutely that's the highest form of a compliment.
Little crown, little halo for you there.
That or a referral. If they say, hey, I referred you to my friend who just got engaged, it's such a high compliment because you don't just do that for anybody.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. Whenever brides are out there and they're shopping for a photographer, and, these Facebook groups like Pittsburgh Brides can be overly saturated with photographers. You post, I need a photographer. This is my budget. This is my wedding date. And you can have anywhere from 30 to 150 or 170 comments. It's ridiculous. I've seen some that are just insane. How does a bride navigate through that process? If it was your sister and she didn't, or your best friend, let's put it your best friend, and you can't do her wedding, you're already booked. How are you telling her to navigate those waters trying to find a photographer? What are some hot takes? What are some tips? What would you tell her?
So when your photographer comments or when a photographer comments, I always tell people, and I have had lots of friends recently who got engaged and everything. And if they haven't had me find somebody or hired me, I tell them this. I'm like, when you go through those, people who post a picture on their comment, saying, hey, I'm a photographer, would love to work with you. Here's my website, whatever. And then show the picture of their, their work. I always say, look at those ones first because you can already see their images. They already have proof that they are a photographer. They have done weddings before, that's there. But then the other thing is if they don't have a website, and this might be a hot take, but if they don't have a website, do not book them.
Yeah. That
is my own personal opinion. But if a photographer is experienced enough, they will have a website. And if they do not, 9 times out of 10, I've seen that those photographers don't perform how they should.
Sure. Because anybody can buy a Canon camera off of Amazon and say that they're a photographer.
On Instagram. Yeah. So a website is super, super important. And then reviews, lots and lots of reviews because if they don't have reviews, no, scale them. If they, have any bad reviews, and I feel like every photographer will have 1 or 2 bad reviews.
Sure.
Because there are
personality clash, a bad day, bad weather, things that,
it's
a creative process and you can't
make everybody happy.
You can't put creative process in writing, right? That's thing that you cannot do. And it's an interpretation, and the interpretation has to be meeting up the minds of the same vision. And sometimes my vision is this way and your vision that way, and we miss a little bit.
Right.
And sometimes people that are not creative have a really hard time grasping that and understanding that. They just see your pictures and they like your pictures, but they don't really understand the editing process and your editing style. And I know this for years. I've seen this problem with the public, and so it is. I think that's the other reason why you should do the engagement shoot and really get to know your photographer.
Yes.
In most cases, those are free.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't charge you for that, and it's a way to get to know them. Yeah. The other thing that I would recommend to couples, and this is with any vendor, not just a photographer, but if you're on the shelf and you've gone through, that rabbit hole of doing all these things that you just mentioned, also check out the SOS, see if they have a listing with the state of Pennsylvania. They don't necessarily have to have one. They can operate as a DBA, which you probably do. But if they don't, ask them if they have a certificate of insurance.
Yeah, because that's important.
That's one thing. The certificate of insurance tells you that they're serious.
Right.
They have to have one to go into any venue these days.
Mm-hmm.
Require it. Mm-hmm. And if they hem haul in any way about that.
Right. Absolutely.
Because like it costs so little to have one, but it's so important that you have one.
It is very important.
And just in case something goes wrong, you put your camera bag down and the little kid trips over and cracks his head open.
Right.
You've got a problem. Right. That's just being professional.
Yeah,
and
your contract can only handle so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. There's a lot of, like you said, anybody can buy a camera and call themselves a photographer, and there's lots of those people in this world, and sometimes they are hard to find if you're not willing to do the research. But that's a big thing, asking them if they are a legal business and if they have a contract. They don't have a contract, run.
Yeah, that's the biggest red flag. Watch the red flag go across the screen. Like that's the biggest red flag ever.
So bad.
They have to have some type of contract, right?
Not only does it save you, but it saves them.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, those things.
Yeah. Would you like to play a little game with me?
Yeah.
Have you heard of?
I have, because I am.
Boss it or toss it.
I watched a couple of videos.
Yay! So boss it and toss it. Boss it means that you love it, and toss it means it's time for it to go.
Okay.
And this is just kind of like so our viewers can get to know you a little bit better and your fun things and wedding related. So I'm just pulling these out of nowhere.
Perfect. Love it.
Okay. What do you think about Grandma's Flower Girls?
Boss it.
I say boss.
I love
it. Tell me why.
I wish so badly that was a thing, like a word that I thought about for my wedding. I totally would have. I mean, okay, My brother was my flower girl, so I love that. That was funny, hilarious. But I also would have loved for my grandma. I think it's so cool. And I think that, like, if you don't have flower girls, girls that are of age or whatever, I think that it's so cool to add your grandmas in there, and definitely great memories.
It gives them a little bit of ownership of the wedding day too, right? They deserve to shine.
And they'll actually walk down the aisle. Some flower girls won't. I mean, or they'll wheel down. I don't know. However, your grandma's getting down the aisle.
Or carry down with tears, crying, right?
Yes. Yeah. I know. I love that faucet for sure.
And so, dedicating the bouquet to Mom.
Faucet.
Oh,
yeah.
That's another one. Don't you wish you would have been able to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. All right, last year I had a wedding where they did that. And I was like, that's so special. I love that.
Yeah. Moms get overlooked, and they do all this planning and everything. And they don't really have the specific thing that they shine at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Private vows.
Faucet.
You like the faucet on that one? Tell me why.
I think that the traditional vows are very important sometimes. And if you don't do them, that's fine too. I think that traditional vows, I think that private vows, like people who write their vows, I think that a lot of times it is overlooked as a vow and they write them more as a letter. Does that make sense? I've seen a lot of my brides who
Good point.
They say, I've loved you since I was this young, yet whatever. I love you for forever. But the normal through sickness and then health, like that gets very overlooked. So I think that like having that moment during your ceremony where I vow to you to be there for you. I vow to you to do this, to do that. I think that that's important. And being able to still say, hey, here's my vows to you that I have written myself is also important. And having a separate moment is fine.
I love that. I love that. And I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, the bottom line is it's your wedding. It should be whatever you want.
Absolutely.
There is no more tradition. Like tradition is at the door. Like it's kind of like, this is a chapter. There are different chapters, these traditions, and you can either choose to have those chapters or not, or redefine them however you see fit. It's your book, write it, make it your wedding, your way.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's talk about after party.
I'd say boss it.
Yeah.
I think that they're cool.
Yeah. After party. Okay. What do you think about this trend for documentary type with less posing photos?
I say boss it for the most part. So,
but there.
The reason that I say that is I think that a lot of brides think that they want a documentary photographer, and they probably do. However, I think that you have to have a certain type of relationship for a documentary photographer. Does that make sense? Being that, like, I have a lot of brides who are like, yeah, I want my day to just pan out and you take pictures. That's great. I would love to do that. But I need you to understand that doing so, if you're not with your groom, I can't get pictures of you two. Mm-hmm. You have to be like a lot of bride and grooms nowadays are spending
they still plan
apart.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like, so yes, I love the documentary style. I love capturing the day as it happens. I think that that's great. I play into that a lot. But as far as portraits and stuff, I definitely pose you guys to get those pose portraits. But like the whole like reception, like, oh, we have our arms around each other looking over the reception. Love pictures like that, documentary style. But you have to be together for that to happen. Yeah. And I don't think that a lot of people realize that if
the requirement,
a certain picture, there is a little bit that goes into it.
Why is documentary style trending?
It's a good question. I think there is a very pretty aspect of the documentary style, and I think that it's lots of people like that it's just their day and not posed, which I think is absolutely great. Because I do love that you can just capture the day. Mm-hmm. You know, it shows your day as it happened. And as you look back on your wedding photos, it's your day, not a posed day. Yeah. You know, you feel
there's
your
downside
day.
To that too, though. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to give you another one. Unplugged ceremonies.
This one's going to be crazy. I'm going to say toss it.
Why?
Because, okay, so in there, I do like it sometimes.
There's a story here.
However, if your people want to remember your day, I don't have a problem with them taking a picture during the ceremony. You know, I don't have, as long as they're not in the ceremony, as long as their phones aren't up the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them taking a quick picture. I had a wedding last year where they, at the beginning of the ceremony, the officiant said, all right, this is your time. If you want to take a picture of the bride and groom, take it now. I love that idea. Yeah. That's why I say I'm going to toss it, because it is special for those people to have those pictures on their phone, because it's not like you're going to send your wedding gallery to your entire guest list, you know, so they're not going to have those images that I took.
Sure.
So for them to have, like, take a quick picture, I'm okay with it. You know,
that.
I'm all right with it.
I mean, they are your guests. Yeah. And they did, you know, buy a new dress and take time, 12 hours out of their day to come to your wedding.
But I'm not here to say that I'm also, if somebody's, you know, in the middle of the hour, I'm not going to say that I don't stand in front of them sometimes to get the shot that needs to be taken.
Yeah. You're not hired as the content creator. Let's just, you know.
Yeah. And you don't need to be standing there with your iPad videoing the entire thing. Like, your mom doesn't need to have her iPad out. She's okay. Everybody else can capture it.
Well, and that's part of the problem is everybody has a phone and everybody's a content creator, and, you know, they feel that what they're doing is important for themselves and for the couple, and they don't realize that sometimes they're just in the way. Yeah. And respectfully, you just need to respect the professionals and let them do their job. Disposable cameras.
Boss it.
Yes, you bossed everything. Why?
I think that they're cool. I think that it's fun. I think that, once again, it gives you a different perspective than your photographer's capturing.
Yeah.
From the, you know, guests.
I'm a toss it.
Really?
I'm a toss it because, well, for one, I think the photo booth gets pictures of all the guests. And the disposable cameras, those pictures are being taken by anyone under any lighting and you just don't know what they're going to look like when they come back.
This is very true.
And you have intoxicated people doing them, not paid professionals.
This is very true.
So I'm going to say, toss it.
From your aspect, I think I would say toss it.
Thanks, Michaela. I appreciate that. I've enjoyed this podcast with you. Thank you so much for joining me on the Golden Couch.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Will you come back when I have less tech issues?
Yes, absolutely.
But we conquered. We got it done.
We made it through.
Can you tell everybody how to find you?
So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at michaelaingmire.photo and on Facebook from Michaela Ingmire Photography. And my website is michaelaingmirephotography.com.
And do you do a intro call with them? What do you do when you have inquiries?
Typically, I do just email back and forth. Unless they prefer to have a call, then I am more than happy to hop on a call. But if you just prefer to meet face-to-face once we do your engagement session, that's fine too.
It's good to get the vibe with each other, right?
For sure.
Thank you so much for being here today. I've enjoyed our conversation so much. And we're going to be doing some lives through the summer. And I'm going to probably either do them Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So I might have you join us live from Indiana and be on one of our panels answering questions for our Pittsburgh Brides out there.
That'd be super fun.
Yeah? You'll join? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Sounds good. This is Dawn coming to you from downtown Pittsburgh. If you enjoyed this podcast, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you liked it. Subscribe. And if you have any comments about the Boss or Toss It or opinions, drop it in the link below for us. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye.